Welcome to step 2 of classical education. That's the dialectic stage. And what we do in this stage, we ask questions. Now, in the grammar stage, we explained to you what a gilt was, what a sow was, and once a gilt becomes impregnated by a boar, they become a sow, and then they farrow piglets out on pasture. And those piglets are one of two things. They're either a gilt or a boar. Now, we also talked about barrows. And barrows, of course, are boars that have had their balls cut off. So in the dialectic stage where we ask questions, the first question is, why do most pig farmers cut the balls off of their boars? Well, it all goes back to something called boar taint. In general, what we've found is boar taint doesn't really exist. Now, the old wives' tale goes, if you leave the balls on a boar and raise them for meat, the meat will have a funny taste to it, a taint. So most farmers cut the balls off of their boars to avoid this taste. Now, over 3.5 years of raising pigs out here on pasture and letting pigs be pigs and keep their balls intact, we have only found boar taint in one boar. And we're pretty sure that was due to the butcher that did it. First of all, the butcher was a long ways away. We had to transport them. That stresses them. That makes them release hormones. So the boar taint that we experienced one time was most likely due to having to transport our boars to a faraway butcher and then how that butcher handled the boars. Unfortunately, after speaking with people that we know who own a local farm to market shop, we learned that this butcher, probably not the best one to use, because I was questioning, how do I get bratwursts back that are dry? And these guys told me, oh, that's because you probably got back someone else's goat, and that's why it's dry. So we don't use that butcher anymore. But aside from that one boar with that one butcher, we haven't experienced boar taint. So we believe that letting boars be boars and keeping their balls intact in the back is the best way to raise them. Why? Because boars, when they are intact, produce testosterone. And with testosterone, the boars, they grow faster. And guess what? If they grow faster, that means you can harvest them faster, which means less time, less money put into them. Now, the question becomes, following up, if you do cut the balls off of a boar and they become a barrow, can that barrow then become a gilt and become impregnated by another boar so that that barrow that now identifies as a gilt can become a sow and give birth to piglets on pasture by farrowing? No. In my experience, from the few barrows that we've had, no, you can't. That barrow does not become a gilt. It does not get pregnant. It does not farrow piglets. And from every pig rancher and farmer that I know, never has a barrow become a gilt and then become a sow. That's because God created these animals to identify and to be in reality either sows or boars. With, oh, look at those beautiful, that beautiful back end while we're talking about boars and bulls. And he walked away, of course.